Coming up on today's episode of PSN, the Canadian National Blind Hockey Tournament takes place in Toronto, March 21st to the 23rd. It's going to be the largest blind hockey competition ever. Luca DeMontis from Canadian Blind Hockey stops by. Let's get started.
Welcome to Parasport Nation with Alex Smyth and Nathan Clement.
This is PSN. I'm host Alex Smyth, as always, joined by Nathan Clement. But Nathan, you're in a different part of the world right now. Where in the world is Nathan Clement?
Right now I'm in Alicante, Spain, in the southern bit of the Mediterranean. So we're here for a 2-week training camp, really focusing on more of the endurance side of cycling. So really focusing on low heart rate so I can build stamina, build strength for when I come back home. I'm going to have that speed. I'm going to have that energy to really take on some more higher intensity workouts before my racing season starts in May.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be a pretty exciting time. Obviously, being in southern Spain, it's a lovely part of the world, but the conditions haven't been cooperating so far.
It's been a little rough. It's been more of a Vancouver kind of training camp in a way. There's been a lot of rain. We had definitely a little bit of a flurry of a rainstorm when we first arrived, and it's kind of stayed the last couple days and even today, and expected for on throughout the week. But hopefully in the next later on towards the weekend, it's going to get really nice, really sunny over here in Spain.
Well, speaking of a flurry of activity, there has been a lot of action in the world of parasport. Take it away, Nathan, with the PSN update.
Now, the PSN update.
Traversing the Nordic snow, Mark Aren's dominant season as another crowning achievement. After the Pride of PEI captured 3 World Championship titles, 5 World Cup wins, and 11 podium finishes, Arens has been named the Crystal Globe winner for the 3rd consecutive season. As the Para-Nordic season approaches its curtain call, all eyes turn to the fall when we pick up the poles and skis again. Mark Eidson and Ina Forrest, hot-handed Scotland, saw Canada go 6-0 in wheelchair curling's World Championships round robin. Seeded 3rd, Canada went head-to-head against Japan in the playoff. After trading leads early in the match, Canada fell behind in the latter half of the game. Attempting a comeback, Canada fell short, losing 7-6 to the eventual champions Japan. Back in Canada, blades are being sharpened as the puck is about to drop on the Canadian Blind Hockey Tournament at the Mattamy Centre in Toronto. Games get underway from the 21st to the 23rd of March. Check back into PSN for the whole breakdown of the tournament.
There is a lot to get to in there. Obviously, Mark Arens continuing to be dominant. I mean, the guy just doesn't stop. He doesn't miss a beat. So for him to win the Crystal Globe, that is no surprise at all.
Yeah, definitely no surprise, and just kind of that little bit of fuel for him just to keep pushing, keep driving as he has another crowning achievement. And now as we go into the offseason, he has that solid momentum as he takes that time. He needs to rest, needs to prepare, and then starts really building that program again, heading into the summer, heading into the fall, and eventually when everything matters, come the Paralympics next year.
Yeah, that's the one downside. You have all the accolades. Now you have all the pressure to keep it going. Something that seemed to have translated in the world of wheelchair curling mixed doubles, because Mark Eidson and Ina Forrest, they were 6-0. They were undefeated in the round robin play. They lost in the first of the elimination matches, and they don't even qualify for the Paralympics now. This is just wild. I've never come across anything quite extreme like this. You would have figured going undefeated in round robin would have at least allowed you a bit of an opportunity or locked you a better spot in the competition to at least be a part of the Paralympics. To me, I'm actually shocked by this development.
It's a crazy thing where there's so much to break down and so much to look at with just how selection works, but this is a case across a lot of other Paralympic sports. Like one that comes to mind is sitting volleyball, where you have countries, no matter where they're ranked in the world, where usually with sitting volleyball, you have Canada, the United States, and Brazil as some of the top favoring countries, as especially we saw with the Paralympics back in Paris. But not all of them get to qualify because it's based on zonals. It's based on a bunch of different things, so where you are around the world. But I'm going to throw it to you. Does a system where a country from each continent qualifies make sense, or would you rather have it just be top 6, top 8, go?
I want the best teams playing in the biggest tournament in the world. I don't care what part of the world they're from. I want the best teams going head to head. I do wonder, though, if this now opens an opportunity for them to maybe rejoin the larger Canada, the wheelchair curling team. They were mainstays on that team for a long time, captured a lot of hardware doing so. I would be very curious if the selection for the wheelchair curling team, if there's an opportunity to maybe swap out players before you get to Milano Cortina, and if we see those names added to the list down the line. But that said, we have a great interview we got to get to with Luca DeMontis, Program Director with Canada Blind Hockey. You got the national tournament starting this weekend. It's going to be jam-packed. Luca has all the details. Here's our interview with him. Luca, thanks so much for joining us.
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Oh, things are going good. I know it's a busy time for you. How are things going on your end? The championship set to kick off this weekend. So how are things right now with that final kind of push to the championships kicking off?
Things are very busy right now, but I think that's a good thing as the anticipation and the excitement builds up to this coming weekend, March 21st to 23rd. It's a weekend that the community has had circled on their calendar for a long time. So there's a lot of excited individuals from getting emails, phone calls, text messages with a lot of questions, but it's all worth it just to feel the excitement that these players are sharing.
Luca, thank you for joining us. This has really become a marquee para event in Canada throughout the year now. Then this is slated to be the biggest tournament yet to date. What do you think are the contributing factors that have really had this sport and the championship grow?
You know, I think at the beginning of the season, we were a pretty ambitious team here at Canadian Blind Hockey with wanting to launch new programs in 5 new cities across the country. And I think that ambition really led and showed the community how dedicated we are to growing this sport, right? So in partnerships with our national program partner, CNIB, we've been very dedicated in getting more children, youth, and adults who are blind and partially sighted on the ice to learn about the game, to try playing the game, and to falling in love with the game. And I think it's a full circle moment. But a lot of testament is to an incredible team we've got, from our executive director to our marketing communications manager to a dedicated board of directors. But it goes beyond the boardroom to the hundreds of dedicated ambassadors and volunteers and players are really a testament of why this game has grown so much as it has, right? So as an organization, we're lucky to be able to have these incredible players that want to play this game and play it at a very good and high level. And for us, it's a huge opportunity to host yet another Canadian National Blind Hockey Tournament. This is the 11th annual, and it's a tournament that I like to consider more of a celebration. There's now participants coming in from around the world. So that shows huge growth to the sport internationally, not just here in our own backyard.
And you mentioned already, the buzz is building, the community is excited and eagerly awaiting it. What are you hearing from them? Like, is it just kind of the same old group of players and athletes, or you're hearing from new voices as well within the community?
You're always going to get the same old group because they don't want to leave and we don't want them to leave. So it's amazing to have the same old dedicated players, but I'm more excited to see the future, right? Like this is record number of children participants, record number of youth participants. And that's the future right there, growing these children and youth programs from across this country, being world leaders and helping new countries establish programs for their children and youth is something that is very, very high on our list at Canadian Blind Hockey. So, you know, I'm super excited for the group that's coming in from Minnesota. There's a group coming in from Philadelphia, and this will be their first time ever participating in not only a tournament, but even a game. Right. So to hear the excitement from not only the children, but their parents is sure a very incredible feeling to have as an organization on our part.
Recently just been added the Masters division. What is that and why was it created?
The Masters division is a testament to the growth of the sport. It's a testament to creating a safe space where players in a certain age category could feel welcomed, but also feel included, that they could contribute despite their age, despite their visual impairment, and still be a leader on a team. Right? And I think it's so important to be able to have these spaces where players can really still live out their dream of being the best blind hockey player they can be. right? So it's a huge testament to the growth of this tournament. I believe we have 188 players taking part in it, and that's a record number for us. So it's super exciting to see the growth, but along with growth comes sometimes restructuring, scaling up divisions. So this year, yeah, we will have a select division, open division, masters division, low vision development division, youth division, a children's division, and a women's feature game taking place. So there's a lot of hockey going on, a lot of blind hockey, but it's all for a great cause, and it's all for an amazing community.
And along with that growth, it's also opportunities for participants on that international level, like you had mentioned. We had Matt Morrow on the show a few months ago. He talked about even exploring the idea of developing a team world, of bringing kind of international players onto a single team and allowing them to compete. Has there been any more development in that? Where does that idea stand right now?
You know what? It's an idea that's continuing to grow every day, right? There's new participants that are reaching out from countries that don't have established programs, never mind a national program. So it's how do we engage these champions in their communities to not only let them feel welcome into the bigger community of blind hockey, but let them feel like they can be a champion and create programming within their own country. So yeah, that is a huge goal going forward, right? I know the Canadian national blind hockey team, they're excited, they're eager. It's a big weekend for some of these players coming up. You know, of course, they want to be selected to represent Canada against USA in April this year, in March, April 24th to 27th. But we look at the bigger picture and we look down the road, and yeah, it would be incredible to add a team world to that mix, right? And I think there's a lot of talented players already outside of Canada and US. And, I don't see why that shouldn't be a goal that not only the organization, but other leaders in the space around the world have targeted.
You're not only the program director, and you just mentioned it right there, that there are athletes on the ice that are going to be up for selection for Canada's national team. What goes into that selection? You can tell us a little bit about the process of how does one make Canada's national team?
Yeah, it's getting harder and harder every year. And I think that shows how not only dedicated these athletes are, but the development of these athletes from the internal programs, right? We've got an incredible coaching staff on our national team led by head coach Paul Cairns that develops a game plan, right? And I'm really there to help him ensure that that game plan is able to be facilitated. If it's training, if it's development, whatever it is to help our athletes ensure that they're at the top of their game, year in, year out, right? It's something that we hold very high, this national team program. And the one thing I want to talk about literally is this weekend isn't going to make it or break it, right? It's going to be a very important weekend for a lot of players, but we're always watching, right? We're always seeing how players develop and how some players improve throughout tournament after tournament and after tournament. And the coaching staff loves that. When they know that they can give you something to take away with following a tournament, and then they watch you the next tournament and see you implementing what the feedback they provided you with, it shows us growth, but it also shows us that these are players that are very coachable. And that's nothing a coach loves more than that, knowing that there's players that are willing to learn, to listen, and to do whatever they've got to do. So it's going to be a busy weekend, but there's many months of preparation that has gone into this. So a lot of dedicated athletes will be definitely showing all their skills.
And can you touch on a bit more for the athletes who do make that selection, that do get named to Team Canada? You mentioned the game against the U.S. Like, what is in store for those nationally selected athletes?
Yeah, great question. The 2025 International Blind Ice Hockey Series is taking place in Montreal this year, April 25th, 26th, 27th. So the international championships are back on home ice. And right in talking to players that have been on this team since its inception, there's nothing that holds them with more pride than wearing that maple leaf on home ice, right, in home soil. So it's going to be a very excited group. It's going to be a very passionate group. And I think I think there's a big buzz right now around international hockey, right? You see the four nations, the huge success there. And, the team chat and the group chat and messages were always flying around. So I'll end that speculation there. There was a team chat for many different players and even management. And you just see what it means when these players put on their national team jersey, right, at any level. And I'm sure you all know a lot about that, right? So it's going to be an exciting time, and I'm just so happy it's in Canada. Following the last series, we went off to the St. Louis. It's good that it's hosted at home, for sure.
You've been the GM of the team since 2018. What are some of the biggest differences you've seen in the game from then to now in 2025?
It's getting faster. This game is getting faster. When you got the skill and speed of a Liam O'Callaghan, right, and like a Luke Miller, like it's exciting to see what the future of this sport really truly holds. But the game's getting faster. The players are getting stronger. They're getting smarter. They're putting more into their own craft now, which is huge, right? There's a small window of an off season now, and I think even during that off season, a lot of them are still doing what they need to do to make sure their body is in tip-top shape. So when they do receive a call or when they do find out about a series or a camp or a tournament, they're ready to go, right? So I'm excited for the future of this sport, not just here within Canada and with the U.S. series, but internationally, right? I think there's a lot of room for growth, and I think we're going to see this sport continue to grow in the next few years.
And so you mentioned a couple names already. For those who are looking to maybe come check out the championships this weekend, who are some of the names or some of the players that you think people should kind of keep their eyes on or pay close attention to?
Yeah, this is a great question. I'm sure if I would have known this earlier, I would have been taking some donations for a couple plugs from some of the players. But, you can't go wrong when you've got players like Kelly Serbu, Jason Yuha, Simone Richard, Tomas Raymond, Mark DeMontis, Joe Fernazier, right? That's just a few to name, right? Chaz Mizuraka coming back off hip surgery. The young studs, Liam O'Callaghan, Dante Giamaroli, right? It's incredible to see the growth, but it's so exciting because you're going to see some of the top American players in Dan Schramm and Luke Miller and Tim Kaine all taking part in this select series, right? So it's going to really put on an incredible display of blind hockey through some amazing athletes, but I like to also consider them great people. And they're just incredible people that are really pushing the sport and really helping us make blind hockey a household name.
Now, Luca, you've done a lot for the development of the sport, really helping create teams, putting this event on. Is there anything that you take the most pride in from your time with blind hockey?
I think I need to really mention this right off the bat is that I don't do this by myself, right? It's impossible for that to ever happen. We've got a great team with Matt Morrow and Mel Carey and the board of directors and amazing volunteers. I'm so fortunate to work with some dedicated volunteers across this country, right? So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention all that. And, this is you can't win a game by yourself. And in blind hockey, it's even harder, as we all know, with the adoption of the one pass rule. So it's really important to make sure that credit is given where credit is due, right? So it's been a long road. It's been a challenge. It's been growth. Personally, it's been growth even through the community, right? But I think the most important thing is that we know how important this sport truly is. The relationships it fosters, the communities that grow. And I think it's so important, and it's a testament to sport and the power of it, right? So I think we need to kind of continue to keep doing what we're doing because it's clearly working. And I think if we can continue on this right path, not only will we help grow a sport that is loved by many, but I think we'll grow a community that shows despite your disability, you truly still have the ability to do what you love.
Luca, that was so well said. And you are a hockey guy through and through. So we wanted to wrap up this interview with a few rapid fire hockey related questions. Me and Nathan will go back and forth and hit you from all these different angles. First off, hockey tape, black or white?
White.
All right. Go to pregame meal.
Go to pregame meal. I've got the amazing joy of ordering the pregame meals for the national team. So it's really whatever they want. But I'll tell you, they love the chicken and pasta from the coaches down to the players, right? So, I'll go grilled chicken and a nice penne.
Hey, that's a great one. Any superstitions that you have?
Back when I played, probably a couple that I forgot now since that's been many moons ago. But since I've had this role, I kind of try to keep to myself a little bit before the game. I don't want to be like that general manager that's up in everybody's hair and getting them off their game. But, I'm just really trying to help out anybody that needs anything from the coaching staff to any players with special requests about family or getting something. So really try to keep to my own a little bit. I'll try to watch a period by myself. Yeah, nothing really kind of too superstitious.
You do have a Maple Leafs Austin Matthews jersey behind you. Is there any pro hockey player that you would love to have on a line with you?
I mean, any pro hockey player on a line with me, they'd probably wonder, what am I doing out there? But, you know, I've been very fortunate to see a lot of professional hockey players, especially here in Toronto, have the opportunity to play with our blind hockey puck, right? So you see what a guy like Mitch Marner or John Tavares can do with a blind hockey puck, and even a Pavel Barber. It's cool to see them being introduced to another discipline of hockey and sharing the same love for the same game that we all love, right? So I'd probably have to, throw Mitch on one side, and then, I'm a big Brad Marchand fan, and we had a lot of good interactions with him throughout the years. So I guess you can't go wrong with him on the other.
And lastly, what are the biggest misconceptions or the biggest misconception when it comes to blind hockey?
I feel like there's a lot of them, to be honest. And I think a lot of the players are here to end those, right? Like some individuals be like, oh, it can't be too fast. No, it's very fast, right? You try to tell Tomas Raymond to slow down. That's not possible, right? So that would definitely be one. Another one would be right off the bat, people would think, oh, it's not going to be good hockey. Or they might think, oh, don't they just bump into each other? And how do they find the puck, right? And I think that's what's so special about events like this weekend is not only if you're not able to come out to watch it live, check out our YouTube channel. Right. It's going to be broadcasted all games. I believe there's 24 of them across 3 days. So there's going to be a lot of blind hockey to watch, right? No matter where you are in this country or around the world, it's a great chance to log in and learn a little bit more about the parasport of blind hockey, but also give these athletes the incredible recognition they deserve. Right. So I think it's so important how courageous these athletes are getting on the ice despite having 10% vision or less and playing the game they love. Right. So if you're unable to get out to Mattamy Athletic Center, definitely visit our YouTube channel, visit our website, CanadianBlindHockey.com. You can check out the digital program. There's a schedule to all the games. It's going to be a weekend that's going to be celebrated by many. And as I mentioned, it's a celebration that I'm always so excited for. It's worth the long nights, the long work days, just to see this community come together and share their passion, really.
Well, Luca, I'm pumped. I'm going to be there on the ground throughout the weekend doing some coverage for AMI. I look forward to seeing you there and taking in all the action, but thank you so much for taking a bit of time out of your busy schedule to chat with us.
No, thank you guys very much. And always, we're so proud and happy with the relationship we've had with AMI since day one, right? So thank you again for not only attending another tournament, but helping to amplify our voice, really, and showcasing this tournament on a national scale.
Quickly, Nathan, I just have to say the passion, the excitement, the overall enthusiasm that Luca always brings forward, and anyone we talk to from Canadian Blind Hockey, they are just riding that wave of excitement, of just an explosion in popularity. It's just the largest competition they're ever had before. They're getting people internationally. I mean, the arrow is firmly pointed up with Canadian Blind Hockey.
It's just absolutely phenomenal. You've been covering Canadian blind hockey for a while. I have too in the last couple of years. And every single year, whether it's 2022, 2023, 2024, and now in 2025, we're always talking. It's the biggest tournament yet. We got more people coming in, and it's just growing exponentially every single year. And now we got teams from Philadelphia. We got teams from all over the United States. And Luca is just one of those guys where when it comes to taking the credit, he just gives it to other people. He's the true hockey player, true hockey mindset, that humility, that grace, and just the love for everyone. And I really think, and you and I talk about this most, is we think blind hockey is on such an upwards trajectory. It's going to be really exciting. But Alex, is there anything that you are looking forward to most about being in Toronto this weekend?
Yeah, so there's a lot to look forward to. I'm going to be there over 2 days. Myself, producer of PSN, Jeff Ryman, we're going to be there on Friday, getting a chance to interview a lot of the folks from Blind Hockey, from Hockey Canada, any other representatives who are there to kick off the weekend. And we're going to have some of those interviews either on our regular PSN episodes. But another thing I'm really excited about, on Sunday, after the bronze and gold medal matches, we are going to be doing a special post-game PSN special. It's going to be hosted by myself, Jeff Ryman and Mike Ross, who's going to be on the ground doing play-by-play with Nico Cardarelli for the bronze and gold medal games for AMI Audio. All that action, it starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you can't make it to the Mattamy Center in Toronto to catch the games live, you can tune in to AMI Audio. You can listen to the play-by-play, followed by the special reaction to the bronze and gold medal games. And that special will also be published on YouTube on a later date. So there's a lot to be excited about for that. For me personally, from the games standpoint, I'm very curious about this new Masters division. This is one that is being introduced now. I love the expansion of the format. I was there when they had that first women's blind hockey game. It was such a great success. I hope that carries with the Masters kind of division as well. Nathan, what about you quickly? Is there anything about this weekend, whether it's a new slate of games or divisions, that caught your attention?
I just think it's the jam-packed nature of the weekend where you have over 24 games happening. You have another women's showcase all-star event. So that's going to be really amazing just to see these steps and see everyone just coming back, because that was the big thing Luca was saying too, is you have just returnal of like so many people who want to keep playing year after year after year. And when you have that kind of core nucleus that just love what they're doing, have that passion, have that heart, it's going to bring more people in. And if you're in the Toronto area, like I've been fortunate enough to cover, to edit and put together many pieces on this tournament, it is one you have to check out. It is one you have to be a part of. And if you're not able to be there, definitely watch it and definitely listen to Alex and the crew, because it is high flying, fast hockey. So it's just going to be absolutely incredible just to see the skill, see the passion, and see the heart that is going to be displayed on the ice.
Absolutely, and the buzzers will be ringing, but unfortunately the buzzer's ringing on us because we're all out of time on today's episode. So thank you for watching and listening. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to Parasport Nation. Like and subscribe to the channel to follow us now.